Odessa Brookshore inhaled her very first breath on a lemon-pink morning, 8 September 1999, inside a cedar slat cottage balanced on piling stumps above the mirror glass shallows of Maine's Booth Bay Harbor. Outside, harbor seals barked at gulls quarreling over mackerel scraps, while her mother, a road-roaming folk blues banjo player who presses violet pansy petals between spare finger picks, rolled a lazy riff that made cracked macy jars quiver in harmony. Her father, a night shift lighthouse lens polisher who sketches little cloud lobsters on stray shipping receipts, leaned so close their freckles nearly blended, and promised his brand new daughter that dockside chatter, cafeteria sneak laughs, and shop rails stopping at 14 would always shuffle aside for a spirit big enough to stretch into her full outline. Curves pulse through the Brookshore bloodline the way warm Gulf Stream eddies twist beneath cold Atlantic chops, so nobody panicked when baby Odessa ripped a second flannel swaddle before the kettle even whispered "Grandma avec," slid a seal repair needle through each frantic tear, replaced the missing cloth with flashes cut from a retired spinnaker, and laughed that 2 handspans of fabric cost pennies, while shrinking a child might cost her galaxies of sunrise. Minchery corridors tasted like pencil shavings, brown sugar oatmeal seeping from the lunch window, and briny wind pushing through wall vents. Odessa already stood half a head taller than her classmates, blotting the projector glow whenever she traced humpback maps on the pull-down atlas. One salt spray recess, 2 boys hop-skipped rings around her, chanting "Tide Tug," with every rubber boot thud on chalk squares. That twilight she walked the strand, scooped soda caps polished into mother of pearl, threaded them on fishing leader, stitched a rattling strand down her spruce green hoodie, and strolled into class at dawn scattering rainbow freckles across acoustic tiles. A visiting reading aide filmed 7 shaky seconds on a prepaid phone, posted the shimmer to a Nassau-sent video nook, and by lunchtime 15,000 strangers cheered the kid who turned teasing into pure light. Odessa jotted one promise next to subtraction drills in purple ink. Clouds, proud only, until you flashed them bright enough to part. Weekends belonged to Robinson's Wharf, where her mother's banjo rolls braided with diesel coughs from lobster boats, skillet pops from clam tossers, and gulls lobbying for bait leftovers. Store jeans seized at Odessa's thighs, so she bartered tip jar coins for sun-bleached gillnet, unraveled it into rope, crocheted high-rise culottes, airbrushed gray seal silhouettes in squid ink, and posed at mango sunset against rust-lined pilings while her cousin snapped grainy photos. Each shot sailed into an online journal she called Lantern Drift. The week a shiny photo app finally reached patchy harbor towers, captions bounced between dock slang and bare truths like curves, anchor gale gusts steadier than seawalls. By 15, she counted 54,000 unseen friends, double-tabbing every melon frame, evidence glowing rectangles, hush cafeteria whispers faster than any whistle. A tidal power grant ferried her south to the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. Daylight dissolved in wave flume labs, and nights belonged to a 24-hour hush puppy wagging glowing neon guava under longleaf pines. The heat lamp turned into her softbox. Between shrimp orders, she shot 90-second clips, folding parchment into sweet grass hair twists, while translating dart shaping in half-surf hush, half-classroom zine. One upload layered dolphin chatter on lo-fi beats while she chain-stitched reflective anchor braid into thrift denim. 48 hours later, views cleared 1.3 million. Coastal-style blogs dubbed her the Hush Puppy Couturier, yet brand emails still froze at size 16. She shuffled each offer into a folder marked "Shrinking Nets," wiped honey mustard from her cuff, and ladled more batter. Hurricane Prep Week brought an email from Columbia Sportswear asking her to co-design a spray shell capsule titled Tidal Spark. Odessa answered with 3 Pure From terms, patterns scaling to a 60-inch hip, half the crew hired directly from community college fashion programs, and 10% of net profit banked into eelgrass restoration from Lubeck to Lewis. Columbia signed Before Dawn blush lab skylights coral the shoot Dawn on a sandbar where pipe and plover chicks sketch commas toward glass water. Odessa coached paddleboarders of every circumference while a drone drew slow infinity loops overhead. When the lookbook landed, every extended-size jacket vanished in 41 hours across 30 nations, and Lantern Drift leapt beyond 700,000 lantern icons. Still dusted with powdered sugar from an overnight footer dash, she balanced her phone atop a flour tub, ducked behind potato sacks, and live-streamed tear-bright thanks beneath buzzing fluorescence. Pause the tie a second and tap subscribe right now if your chest is already riding this swell. One gentle click reserves your rail seat so next week's journey reaches you before algorithm winds can shift. And yes, the description already holds a door toward the finest step-by-step path to honest love, a guide many swear turns unfamiliar conversation into bright connection. Spotlight shimmer lured rumor gulls. A clickbait blog claimed Odessa hid steel plates round her waist beneath those tidal spark shells. At sunrise, she paddled a cedar board beyond eelgrass ribbons, planted bare feet in linen shorts and sports top, traced every stretch mark with crushed fireweed, and riffed a banjo gallop so raw, even seals paws mid-splash. 10 million viewers reposted the jam labeled fireweed proof, brushing magenta dust along their own curves until gossip slipped under the tide. Cart wages twined with capsule royalties and whipped into Brookshore butter, a cloud of spruce tip cream, seashore rose oil, and mica flickers that glow pearl under phone flash. 19,000 tins cooled on her father's chart table, lids tied with braided rope, each tag printed "Moisturize Your Horizon." Stock drained in 82 minutes, raising $198,000, 20% launch beacon grants, sending industrial surgers and hydrophones to plus-size teens in shoreline schools from Bar Harbor to Bald Head. 8 moons later, 36 grantees streamed a floating fashion and well-song showcase aboard a retro lobster smack wrapped in solar fairy lights, sunrise joy beaming into classrooms from Kingston to Kyoto. Boston Seaport Fashion Night birthed new jetty lore when a backstage fan tore her sapphire mesh gown from hip to shin 90 heartbeats before runway. Odessa yanked neon dockline off a rig brace, laced a gash like boat hooks, and walked as if the splice had lived in every sketch. Shutters popped like kettle corn. Vogue Atlantic christened it Rope Cadence Rescue, and another million lantern sparks ignited before string quartets tuned the after party. A jilted aide leaked cropped mails hinting she demanded butter-poached lobster towers and chauffeured skiffs for her rescue puff Mariner. She posted the full trail revealing refillable water urns, lentil stew for crew, caption screens for deaf stylists, then routed that month's affiliate wave, $136,000, into biodegradable crab trap pilots off Monhegan. Bands echo her pure credo, receipts glimmer brighter than rumor grit, until whispers faded like ebb fog. Family studies her helm, twice a month she streams Porch Line Groove. Mom floats soul riffs beside a propane griddle. Dad recites cloud haiku. Odessa flips thrift denim while Mariner toddles through powdered sugar. One broadcast cracked 9 million views when the bird sneezed glitter onto the lens. A seabird refuge now sponsors each stream, tagging rehabilitated puffins with solar beacons, financed by Brookshore Butter. Butter revenue skimmed past 12 million before its second equinox. Odessa leased a silent shellfish shed, carved skylights through corrugated tin, hired furloughed deckhands plus design grads to whip custard and knot lids by hand during midday banjo house sets. Auditors begged for shrink sleeves. She repeated grandma's adage, fingertips store legend longer than plastic, and rope ties stayed. Her feed hums honest weather. Basalt cliff portraits paired with chowder car selfies captioned same sky, different tide. She distributes breath tracks captured in sea caves, printable resilience pages in English and Mi'kmaq, and discount windows for therapy on a sliding scale. 134,000 readers call her Shoreline Candor, their first calm harbor. Community rides shine under crushed shell glitter. Hundreds pedal sunset causeways wearing Brookshore butter on shoulders and LED coastal grass tassels on spokes. Ticket money fattens beacon grants and lifts wheelchair snorkel rigs over Crystal Springs. Chowder huts simmer late, clam stew bowls jump 15% on ride nights. Odessa leads on a vintage cruiser with Mariner plush strapped front, pausing to knot any rider's dragging lace. She is polishing a memoir titled Currents Keep Names, due next spring in 11 languages, while a documentary crew tracks her plan to convert retired channel boys into floating maker labs for peninsula schools. Puma's White-to-Wave lantern sneaker lands next quarter, threaded with reflective rope, cushioned in algae foam, steering 10% of revenue into beacon seedbeds hugging the Atlantic Arc. Here comes your second soft reminder. If that subscribe badge still burns bright red, flick it mellow gray this instant. One fingertip locks the next tide into your inbox before algorithms drift the route. Remember, the description's guide to effortless, heartfelt love is always on standby for you. Black drifts towards Slackwater. In the description, you will find fresh Brookshore butter jars, beacon grant portals, tonight's Porchline playlist, and the discreet compass that thousands use as their shortcut to lasting romance. Free, open, one click. The soda cap, spine glimmer road, cadence gown, rescue, or mariner glitter sneeze stirred even half a green tap. Like float your brightest ripple in the comments. Share this trip with a friend whose sails hang slack. Every curve redirects currents, every scar refracts moonbeams. In the harbor bows to anyone bold enough to plant 2 boots on the pier and greet tomorrow eyes bright. Idle breeze along the mic. Subscribe right now, claim your rail, visit the love link waiting below, and meet me on the next rising tide when a brand new story glints beyond the breakers and courage whispers your name again.